All right. Welcome back to the Unhindered Podcast after a phenomenal holiday break. We can't get enough of each other, obviously. And, you know, it's been a while.
A few weeks.
Good holidays? Andy?
Yeah. Good times.
Time with family and friends.
Yeah, just like the last episode, we do have a guest, and that's Mr. Stembridge.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, he might, if he leaves early, it's because he's got duties to uphold. So, yeah, I kind of think
As a good coach.
As a good coach. And I do have a question for you before we start, though, Andy. Okay, you ready?
I hope so.
Who's your favorite superhero and why?
I wish I could have prepared this answer.
No, I want the first thing that comes in your head.
I like Superman. I don't know, is Wolverine considered a superhero?
Yes.
Okay, so then I have to change quickly. I like Wolverine. I think he's amazing. His hand-to-hand combat, he could murder people with his
through the roof
with his knives.
Who's
Yeah, they're amazing. I like all the X-Men actually, and the villains. Sabretooth is a good guy.
Nice. Is that his brother?
I don't know.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think so.
And at least in the newer movies, it is.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Magneto.
And back when he was younger, he was a good guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Jean Grey. The Phoenix.
Yeah. She's going to come back in the next one.
Right. They're making a show on her.
All right.
Phenomenal.
Okay.
I can keep going.
You can just keep going.
You need to let me prepare.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
What about X-Men?
Since we're kind of going to be quick today, I think we'll just kind of jump into everything. So the topic that I kind of have for us to break down into is the idea of kind of coaching or bettering yourself or other people with that idea of what we like to call the growth mindset. You know, to kind of open up the dialogue. You guys have a basketball game today, so thinking about what the growth mindset is, how does that translate into like how you started preparing for that game today?
Well, I think the big thing with growth mindset is we're always looking at where can we grow, what can we learn from. And at the very beginning of the season, I said we don't lose, we have learning opportunities. So I guess it's just taking those things that we're not doing as well as we should be on the court and trying to figure out how we can practice them and practice to make our girls better.
Yeah, coming from the coaching standpoint, I believe, number one for us is we need to be willing to learn as well as we continue to expect our players to learn, and understanding that, we maybe don't know everything, and as we continue to move throughout the season, if we expect our athletes to grow from every challenge that they face, then we need to have that same expectation out of ourselves.
I never coached basketball before this year. Never really played basketball.
It's all right, me neither, but I jump in every now and then.
So, this whole season's been a learning experience for me. And so every day at practice, I learn something new. Or he says, you know this one drill? And I'm like, nope. I have no clue what you're talking about. But I've been able to pick up on things pretty quickly and help our girls become better basketball players. So.
It's good. And I like that we're so specific on sports, and that was a good way to start the dialogue. But now let's open it up to how do you take that growth mindset that we all do as like coaching and things like that. And it's really easy to think about that way. I think it's a really good place to start. How do we open that up to just everyday life? What sort of stuff can we take away from what we did as athletes? Because we were all college athletes. We all played college soccer. We all coached at one point. And now how do we translate that to everyday life, not just in sports aspect?
It's a good question. As an athlete, we always want to get better. At least that's my mindset when I was playing college sports, as you say. It's like you never wasted a training session. And, regardless of where you entered, you wanted to exit better in certain, and I take that same into my job, into coaching, into, teaching, and everything we do is we wake up and I'm going to be better today. It doesn't matter what it is. If I'm waking up, I'm going to work out today. I'm going to make myself in some aspect better. You know, I'm going to communicate with someone
Mm-hmm.
more effectively. Things like that.
I think one quote is just be a better person than you were yesterday. You don't have to be the best person in the world. Just be better than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, that's just a small thing. What can I do better today than what I did yesterday? What can I change today that's going to make either myself, my team, my students, you know, the people around me better? And I mean, that's one of my big things is just be a better person. And one of my kind of goals every year is how can I get better? And I think that's part of the reason why people set New Year's resolutions is how can I be a better person, right? Kind of fits into the time period, what we're doing right now. But, you know, whether it's working out or eating better or reading more books or traveling to new places, you know, there are plenty of things that you can do to make yourself and the people around you better, and including, you know, volunteering or, you know, just trying something new, you know, making yourself better. So one of my goals this this summer is to take a sign language class. You know, learn a little bit of sign language. You know, learn something new that's normally not something that I would need, but you know, helps me to grow and possibly communicate with people in the future.
Right. Yeah. The whole idea of being a better communicator. So, what do we tell? You know, I think being teachers, being coaches, being people that have, you know, played sports, being able to identify things that way. What do we tell those people that don't necessarily have those? Because to me, kind of before I go into that, the most important thing I think in the growth mindset is character development. Right? Because if you have character flaws, I think it's really easy to see that. And we always talk about sports just because it makes itself fruition much easier. Right? You can see the holes in people's games and things like that. It's way easier. So how do we, or I should say, what's most important for people to just start developing those important character traits?
You know, sports, I think, gives us an opportunity to teach character. You know, I mean, it gives us an opportunity to address it as the coaching staff. It doesn't just, you know, and in order for us to reach those kids that aren't necessarily in the sports, I mean, we need to find those opportunities as the adults, as the teacher or whatever, to, you know, explain to them, you know, showing up on time. You know, you're taking care of your equipment, you're taking care of your responsibilities. You've worked a way to manage your time issues. You know, if you're not able to make it to practice on time, you've somehow resolved that. You know, things of that nature. Sports is amazing because it gives us those opportunities to address them. You know, and when they get in the real world, their boss is going to be the ones that have to address those issues. But yeah, that's one of the major things I love about coaching. You know, and getting the kids in this realm is you're able to enforce those and address situations of character issues, I guess.
Right.
I think one of the biggest things as far as developing character is self-reflection and recognizing where you're at.
Oh yeah.
So if we can get kids to start thinking about their actions, what they're doing, what they're thinking, you know, how they are interacting with other people, they can start to see, you know, I could do this better, or I could do this better. And then they start to find role models that emanate those qualities, right? That demonstrate those qualities that, you know, help them realize I could be doing this better and be a better person, right? I mean, talking about starting like a captain's academy or something, you know, like how do we create leaders within our school to not only affect the teams, the athletic teams, but the classes as a whole, right? Because if you start to develop those leaders at a young age, they start to have an impact on the entire community. And so I think one of the things is just having those conversations right now with captains and getting them to think about what they're doing. Because I think that thinking about yourself and what you do is where you actually recognize these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, where can I get help, right? And that's what we as coaches are there for, is to help those students develop character. Not that we're perfect, right? But that we've had some more experience in the things that they are dealing with at that time.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like everybody, when you talk about sports or getting a job or something like that, instantly people jump to like, I'm gonna do this drill this way, I'm gonna take this many steps, and they break down like the strategy to doing it. But personally, I think that most people need to focus on something else, right? They jump right to the strategy rather than worrying about what's the process of me just getting there, right? They gotta be able to trust the process. I know we say that all the time.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to trust the process of just hard work and grit and determination and motivation before you can get into perseverance, growth mindset, before you can get into the, I'm going to do all these little meticulous things. And I think that piggybacks on the whole self-awareness sort of thing, because then in turn, you can just, I like to say, then you start to master yourself. But you can't do that unless you figured out where you are first.
Right. And it's not even like necessarily complex, like mapping out where I am. There's no book that says this is where you are in character development. So these are the steps that you need to take, right? Character development comes with experience and learning from those people around you. So I think one of the things that helps with character development is being willing to learn from the people around you. Learning things as a coach. Coming in to St. Anne's second year coaching, so I learned from you. I'm sure there's things that we've all learned from each other to help make our coaching better as a team. I mean, the three of us together did pretty well during the soccer season, I think, considering the results that we had.
Fantastic, yeah.
So, I mean, we all have to be willing to learn. And I think that's ultimately what it comes back to. It's just that willingness to learn. And if you have that willingness to learn, that willingness to change, then you're going to be more likely to develop your character, or better character, quicker.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think kind of, us trying to do an episode that was kind of quicker but on a kind of a deep subject, I think this is a good kind of make sure our listeners know that we're still alive.
Yeah.
We're back from the holiday break. But before we kind of sign off and go away, I think it'd be cool if all of us kind of shared one or two things that we think people can use that we already do to help us kind of down that growth mindset or down that character development. So, like myself, something that I do every day. So I read a lot of like Stoicism and the philosophy of kind of controlling your emotions and things like that. So what I do every morning is I read a little something, and usually it has some sort of reading from like Marcus Aurelius or any of the philosophers, and then it kind of explains it. So I kind of read that every morning. That's one of the ways that I can sort of self-assess where I'm at and kind of go from there. And then I also do a rating system where I rate my core values. So I've like kind of listed out what other things are important to me, and I try to keep myself accountable to that. And it's obviously during like holiday break and stuff, you lose track of all those things, but usually it's like every other week I try to like, how am I doing in this stuff? So I think just kind of taking back and reflecting on things, and then just kind of seeing where I'm at based on what I've identified as my core values is a way that I can start to master myself.
I think I kind of take my character development from groups that I've been a part of. Being part of the Boy Scouts of America for almost 20 years now.
You're an Eagle Scout.
Yes. So that's kind of guided my life, the Scout Law and the Scout Oath. Growing up in an Air Force family, it's been a lot of character development there. Just being around the military, wanting to go into the military, wearing my Air Force Academy shirt.
Hey, your dad was
20 years.
20 years, yeah.
Yeah, and then he retired. But, just the whole idea of integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. It's kind of an Air Force motto that really, even though I'm not a member of the Air Force, kind of hit me hard.
Right.
Integrity first, do what's right, even though nobody's watching.
I mean, I absolutely agree. It's always important to have an ethos.
Yeah, so, I mean, mine are kind of predetermined, kind of core values from the groups that I've joined, even the fraternity that I joined in college, better men, better lives. Strive to be a better man than you were yesterday. So, I mean, those kinds of things are what push me or guide me as I make decisions in my life.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, I would say it definitely comes from my upbringing. My family, the way I was brought up with our core values and things that we believed in, as well as the coaches I've had. throughout my life.
Oh, yeah.
I've played for a lot of coaches, and I've played for a lot of good coaches, and I've played for a lot of really, really bad coaches, and you learn from every single one, every person you have, just like your teachers. You learn. You've had some really good ones, and you've had some not so good ones, and you take what you can from them, and just respecting the time that the coaches have. I would show up on time, or I attempted to show up on time, and my parents made sure I was there and made sure I was giving it my all, no matter what I did, and so I take that in everything I do, and just continually to self-reflect and making sure that am I doing everything I possibly can. If someone's struggling, am I doing everything I possibly can to make sure that she's or he is understanding the best, or I'm getting through to them the best that I can, or if there's another avenue that I can be taking to where the light bulb clicks.
Yeah.
So it never ends.
Yeah.
You're never there.
Yeah.
You're just consistently trying to get better, and that's awesome. That's what strives and helps. That's what makes me strive to get better.
Yeah. All right.
Most people would say that that's us being too competitive, but that's how we are.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good stopping point. Andy, thanks for joining.
Having me, guys.
Finally, hopefully you're back on again when we've got more time.
Thanks, audience. Sorry it was a quick one.
No, it's good.
Fellas.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Time to go get ready.
Comment, subscribe, like.
Game day.
Good luck. Good luck to the Lady Cardinals.
Hit the like button. It's right there.
Comments are here. Subscribe is here.
Can we put that subscribe box
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.